Okay, there's a demonstration for application of Gtechniq EXO. We're down at KDS and we're going to do a demonstration on this Ferrari Enzo, which has been completely repainted, flat sanded. How many hours, Kelly?
About 900 to 1,000 hours.
A lot of hours. Let's add a single layer of EXO on it, and we're just going to put another layer on it to show you how to apply EXO. So this is the contents. This is the kit that you can purchase. We've got the can of EXO, and then we've got these remote laser thermometers. There's some panel wipe and a pack of microfibers. Okay, so first thing we've got to do is get Kelly, and then but the first thing, the important thing about this is the preparation. Obviously, the skill of detailing is in polishing, and the hours that's gone into this are just off the scale. So once the paint is absolutely perfect, we then use the panel wipe to remove any of the contaminants from the polish to make sure that it's just paint on the surface, because with the EXO it's particularly important because by the nature of the product we have to use a very specific percentage of active ingredient. That active ingredient must be able to bond directly with the paint with no interference. The other thing, and this is why we've got this here, I'm just going to zoom in on that, Kelly, why we've got this thermometer is that the surface must be at least 20 centigrade for the reaction to happen. Obviously today we're now in, what are we, in May, and it is a warm day. It's about what was it, 27 degrees in here.
Car 27.5, 45% humidity.
Yeah.
And we've got a panel temperature of 30 degrees.
30 degrees, so that's absolutely perfect. And we've tested application up to about 40 degrees, and that seems to go no problem at all. So obviously the other factor is, with temperature, it's important to say that the temperature of the panels must be at 20 before you put it on. You don't put it on and then raise the panels up to 20. So in winter time, you could use a heat source, a heat gun, or if you haven't got a heat gun, even a hairdryer will quickly get panels above 20 centigrade. Okay, so really we depend on guys like Kelly very much on working on finding the best way to apply the product, on how it's working real world, because it's one thing to have the product working well in the laboratory, it's quite another thing for the thing actually to be feasible to put onto panels and for it to work. So Kelly's over to you.
We've been testing the EXO Gtechniq products obviously for many years, EXO since November. We've done about 6-7 cars fully, testing for the winter, some of our clients' cars, our own cars, it's actually on our own staff's vehicles. We've got test panels on the roof. One of them is comparing against other competitor coatings and C1 for durability, ease of application, beading. The EXO is the product that's really surprised us. Ease of use, application, the insane beading, which you'll see later on. Just really how clever a coating it is, and it will bond to any substrate.
Without further ado, we will apply some EXO onto this here Enzo. Now, the question also is about application, because it is in an aerosol. Now, the reason it's in an aerosol is, there's a specific reason, it's because it does react very quickly with air, so it has to be transported with an inert gas, which is why it's in an aerosol. It's not because it's the best way to apply it is to spray it on the surface. Now, this can it's a 410ml can, and that will do, if you really push it hard, you can probably get about 6 cars. I think I've even heard of people getting 8 cars out of a single can. So you could just spray the car with the product and then wipe the residue away, but in effect you're going to be wasting 60% of the product with overspray, and also you're just wiping off a big area. So I think, Kelly, you've got more experience than anybody with applying it.
Well, yeah, it's for the application. It's such a quick, easy application. When we first tested it, we actually thought it felt like a quick detail spray. Obviously a very expensive quick detail spray, but it is that easy to apply. You'll see in a minute, spray on, wipe off. It can't get any easier. We found as long as it's between 20 and 30 degrees, 35 degrees, we've tested it on one of our customers' cars at 35 degrees in the oven, just to raise up the heat, is fine. that is the optimum temperature where it will react quite quickly and bond nicely to the car. And we found within 20 minutes or half an hour you can pour water on it and get the same hydrophobic abilities, properties, and a lovely slick feel.
Okay, so let's put some on the car.
I'll show you how to apply it.
And by the way, on the can there are two. Kelly, do you know there's two? You can flip the thing up or you can flip it down. That flip down is just a normal spray, and then flipped up you get a more of a stream jet. Whichever, it doesn't really matter. It's just as long to get the product out the can.
What we find is it's a bit like of any detailing products. The first use application on new microfiber is almost to prime the microfiber. We put more on to start with, and then you don't need as much. It's the first time you'll find that it's a fair amount to get it going. And now it's literally as easy as this. Spread it out. See how it goes out, oily, thin film, doesn't need a long time, no hard pressure, no buffing, smooth and silky, very easy. I find you have less marring because you're not working the panel a long time, and then I'll pick up a new cloth. And just literally very, very light buff to remove it.
And how long on a, okay, this is an Enzo, so it's slightly complicated. It's got a lot of scoops and ducts and so forth. But let's say on a M3, for example, how long would you take normally to put?
30 minutes maximum.
30 minutes.
It is literally the same as using a quick detail spray. Compared to waxing, the speed and ease of use. There's no gassing issues. Once it's wiped off, the residue's gone, then turn the microfiber, go to the dry side, round the edges, concentrate on the edges, just in case any residue.
And it's very important with the light is a flat light is much easier to see any residues in light like that there skylight rather than using a sun gun or what have you. And the rain's come back again, hooray. Okay, so the other thing, EXO works on every single exterior surface. It works on substrates, well, rims are painted, so it works on those fine.
This is a powder coat paint though. This actually is a different paint to the other car. It's actually a slightly different technology, but it will still work fine on powder coat lacquers. And
this is the only Enzo in the world with these kind of rims, I think.
That's right, shadow chrome wheels. I went for this colour choice. So,
no, it's bang on.
Again, same as on the look on the cloth, and you'll see just literally just smear it around very quickly. No pressure needed again. Reduces marring, any sort of scratches, damage. It is literally like quick detail spray. As long as you get a nice even coating. You can't really over apply it if you want a little bit more. As long as it's not very, very hot.
And if you dry, have you had any bits dry out on you, Kelly?
We have. We find just literally reapplying EXO is fine to remove any residue. Just reapply it over the top and buff it gently again. It's you get 5-10 minutes before it starts getting grabby and sticky. Actually, you apply this, it's very, very slick, very, very wet. When it starts to cure, it starts to go a bit tacky and sticky. I'll get a cloth to remove it. Clean cloth, just very, very gentle. With wheels, same as on a car, is wipe all the face first, all the flat edges, concentrate on the corners. And on a wheel, this isn't the worst wheel in the world. There are wheels that are very, very tricky to get into. It's just sort of count round the spokes, round the middle, carefully round the edge. You don't really want to contaminate from the tyre. Go into the edges. Then I would do like a second buff, like you would with the wax, sort of double buff, but you don't have to wait for gassing. This is instant, whereas a wax, you might have to wait an hour, 2 hours. Some waxes gas 6-7 hours later. Once this is set and dry, you won't have any issues. It's just removing the residue. If you want to zoom in on that, Rob, at all, have a look at the finish.
Let me walk around a bit.
Come in and look at the
Try
wheel.
not to trip over on your lights. I think that finish is fantastic, then, isn't it? I think the straight silver on these rims doesn't really get much more depth on those. Okay. Just a quick note about the technology. We'll put more on the website about this, but essentially it's called it's a hybrid coating, ultra durable hybrid coating, and it's a hybrid of inorganic and organic elements. The inorganic, it's a much more consistent film than the organic quartz coatings that are on the market. Again, it's a quartz base, but being an inorganic, the actual structure is a lot more regular, much more even. So this is why you get the better durability from this kind of product. But then it combines an organic element which has the great weathering and the great hydrophobic properties. Contact angle on this is about 110 degrees, and I think on a wax you're looking around about 100. So it doesn't sound like a big difference, but the reality when you see the water beating off this is significantly different. The other thing to note is that it does work on a lot of different substrates. So it'll bond with the hydroxyl group in paints and in plastics, but it'll also bond with glass, bond with fabric, bond with bare metal, bond with stone, with pretty much everything. So we can also use it on the glass, and Kelly will just show how it goes on there. Again, exactly the same kind of operation.
No difference before, just spray some on the cloth. Beauty of EXO, put on the window. If we smear onto the rubber, as Rob just said, or the paint, literally wipe it off. It's not going to cause any problem. This coating literally will do the whole car. Again, little spray, put that down. Spread it out. No pressure again, just very easy. I am going to actually show how I'm going to go over the rubber, slightly onto the paint, which with some coatings may be an issue. So I've deliberately gone right over by accident, so there's a patch. I'm going to get a clean dry cloth. And again, just a nice light pressure. There's no hard pressure needed, nice and gentle. If you do get smears, as I said earlier, just reapplying causes no problems whatsoever. Very gentle. Just get a little residue, turn the cloth, start again.
So the only things really to remember for application is surfaces must be very well degreased. We will be selling silicon degreaser in the UK that's called Panel White off the website, and this removes all the residues from polishes. It's more effective than
It'll be a silicone remover as well.
and that'll remove more than, let's say, a 1/3 to 2/3 IPA mix.